The 1970s didn't ask for permission. It made
Priceless.
music 9 minutes long when the label said 3.
Oh, baby, baby,
Music recorded in burning buildings and borrowed corridors. Music that radio stations banned until their phones wouldn't stop ringing. This decade didn't produce songs. It produced arguments against everyone who said smaller, safer, shorter. Every single argument won. Tonight, the most iconic rock songs, one decade ever produced. The real stories, the obsession, the heartbreak, the stubbornness that built them. And before we count down, one song on this list was never
echo was laughter. Do you remember laughter?
released as a single. The band refused. The label
Priceless.
begged. They still said no. That song became the
Oh, baby, baby,
most requested track on FM radio for an entire decade. Let's go. Number 10. Smoke on the Water. Deep Purple, 1972. The greatest guitar riff in history was born while a building burned to the ground. December 1971. Deep Purple travelled to Switzerland to record at the casino. The night they arrived, someone fired a flare gun into the ceiling during a Frank Zappa concert. The whole building went up. Deep Purple stood on the opposite bank of Lake Geneva and watched their recording studio disappear into smoke and fire. A different band would have gone home. They found a hotel corridor, dragged in equipment and set up in a hallway. And Richie Blackmore sat down and played 4 descending notes. Done, 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 done. Minutes, not hours. Minutes. Smoke on the Water peaked at number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1973. Recorded in a borrowed corridor after a fire, that riff has since been estimated as the first thing over 70% of all new guitar students ever attempt to learn. One casino fire, one hotel corridor, one riff that never left. Number 9. Hotel California, Eagles. 1977. Don Felder was sitting in cut-off shorts in his Malibu beach house, watching his kids play in the sand when those opening chords arrived. He ran inside before they disappeared, laid them down on a 4-track
She got the Mercedes-Benz
recorder over a basic drum machine. No lyrics. No concept, no title. Don Henley heard the demo and said it sounded like a Mexican reggae. That was its first working title, Mexican Reggae.
And I was thinking to myself, this could be
when they finally got to Criteria Studios in Miami to
this could be hell.
record the full version, a year later, Felder had completely
Lit up a candle, and she showed me
forgotten what he'd played. He started improvising the guitar ending
some dance to remember.
differently. Henley stopped him cold.
In the courtyard, sweet summer.
It's not right. Play it exactly like the demo.
She calls friends. How they dance.
I made that demo a year ago. I don't remember what's on it. The
She got a lot of pretty, pretty boys.
tape was 3,000 miles away in Los Angeles. So
Twisted. She got the Mercedes-Benz.
Felder's wife held a phone up to a cassette player in their LA
The heavy and my side grew dim. Had to stop for the
home. And Don Felder stood in a Miami recording studio,
night. There she stood in the door.
relearning his own guitar solo through a telephone
Wait. Heard the mission bell.
receiver. The solo that Guitarist magazine later voted the
And I was thinking to myself, this could be
greatest of all time was recovered through a long-distance phone call.
heaven, or this could be hell. Then she
One more thing. During those sessions, Black
lit up a candle, and she showed me
Sabbath were recording next door. Tony Iommi later recalled,
some dance to remember.
the Eagles were next door, but we were too
In the courtyard, sweet summer.
loud for them. Black Sabbath had to keep the noise down
She calls friends. How they dance.
for the Eagles. Hotel California hit #1,
She got a lot of pretty, pretty boys.
sold 16 million copies in the US alone,
She got the Mercedes-Benz.
won the 1978 Grammy for Record of the Year.
The heavy and my side grew dim. Had to stop for the
Today it plays on American radio once every 11
night. There she stood in the door.
minutes. Picture a dark desert highway,
Wait. Heard the mission bell.
cool wind, the kind of drive where you're not ready to stop.
And I was thinking to myself, this could be
That feeling of arriving somewhere beautiful and slowly realizing
heaven, or this could be hell. Then she
you can't find the way back out. That's not just a
lit up a candle, and she showed me
lyric. That's this entire decade in 6.5
some dance to remember.
minutes.
Before we continue, can I quickly say something on behalf of my wife? She's the one behind this channel, and she would never ask you for this herself, but I see everything. The late nights, the hours she spends bringing these songs back to life, just so someone out there can feel something again. And the part that really gets to me is this. Only about 10% of people watching are subscribed, so most people come here, enjoy it, feel the nostalgia, and then leave her behind. I'm not even saying this to make you feel bad, but yeah, it does hurt her. She just keeps going anyway. So I'm asking you, as her husband, if this channel has ever meant anything to you, even a little, please don't just watch and go. Take 1 second. Subscribe. It's free. But to her it means everything. It tells her she's not doing all this for nothing. All right, let's get back to the music.
Number 8, Stairway to Heaven. Led Zeppelin, 1971. Never released as a single, the label begged twice. 1972, then 1973. The band's manager refused both times. That song became the most requested track on FM radio for an entire decade. Here's the one we promised you. Page and Plant retreated to Bronya, a remote 18th century stone cottage in the Welsh mountains. No electricity, no running water, just fire, candlelight and silence. Plant described the night the lyrics came. His hand just started writing, like the words moved through him rather than from him. Page had been assembling the music in fragments on cassette tape for nearly a year. Different riffs, chord progressions, pieces that didn't belong to any song yet. That night by the fire, they connected. The guitar solo was cut using a 1959 Fender Telecaster given to Page by Jeff Beck. The engineer recalled half an hour of takes, 7 or 8 attempts. Then one came through that felt different. Guitar World ranked it the greatest solo of all time. Atlantic Records wanted to release Stairway to Heaven as a single. Jimmy Page knew exactly what would happen if they did. Someone would edit it, shorten it, fit it to radio. He refused to let that happen. By the year 2000, the song had accumulated 3 million radio plays without ever being released as a single. And Robert Plant, the man who wrote the lyrics beside that fire, has spent most of the last 40 years refusing to sing them. He once said he'd break out in hives. The song left him behind. Or he left it. Even he can't fully explain it. Picture a concert hall going dark, just acoustic guitar, so quiet you lean forward. Then 8 minutes later, the ceiling shaking. That build from a fireplace whisper to a wall of hard rock is one of the most perfectly constructed emotional journeys in recorded music. They refused to make it a single. They were right. Number 7, Born to Run. Bruce Springsteen, 1975. He was 24 years old. His first 2 albums had flopped. Columbia Records was running out of patience. This was his last shot. Springsteen went into the studio in January 1974 and spent 6 months on one song. The final mix of Born to Run contained 72 separate tracks of recorded music, stacked guitars, piano, glockenspiel, strings buried so deep you can barely hear them, barely audible by design. Saxophone parts stitched together from 7 different solo recordings. The arrangement grew so layered, that a note-bending guitar riff Springsteen had written got completely swallowed. He didn't even know it was in there until a friend pointed it out. Sessions ran 14 months total. In that time, Nixon resigned. Vietnam ended. 2 members of the E Street Band quit. Springsteen placed a classified ad in the Village Voice to find replacements. He nearly scrapped the entire record. On the final night of mastering, he took the test pressing to a hi-fi store in Richmond, Virginia. Asked if he could play something on a floor model on the shelf, and stood in the back of a stranger's store, listening to his own album, trying to decide if it was any good. Born to Run peaked at number 23. That doesn't tell you what it meant. It was his first charting single anywhere on earth, and the week it was released, Springsteen appeared simultaneously on the covers of Time and Newsweek. One last shot. 72 tracks, 6 months. He called it himself. My Shot at the Title. Number 6, Layla, Derek and the Dominoes. 1970. Eric Clapton was in love with his best friend's wife. The best friend was a Beatle. George Harrison and Clapton had been close since the late 60s. Clapton had played uncredited guitar on the Beatles' White album. They were brothers, and Clapton was secretly, catastrophically in love with Harrison's wife. Model Pattie Boyd. She said no. She didn't want to leave George. Someone gave Clapton a 12th century Persian poem, the story of Layla and Majnun, a young man who fell hopelessly in love with a woman he was forbidden to marry, who went mad from the longing, who howled at the moon because there was nothing left to do. Clapton felt like he was reading his own life. He assembled a band he hid behind, calling them Derek and the Dominoes, so his famous name wouldn't overshadow the music, and went to Miami to record everything he couldn't say out loud. He played the finished song for Pattie in a London apartment, just the two of them. He played it 2 or 3 times and watched her face the entire time, never looked away. The album flopped on release, didn't even chart in the UK. Then 1972, a reissue. The world caught up. Pattie eventually left Harrison, married Clapton in 1979. George Harrison attended the wedding with Ringo Starr and Paul McCartney. Harrison, when asked about it, "I didn't have any problem about it. Eric had the problem." The song, that was a desperate public declaration of forbidden love, became the wedding anthem for the man who wrote it. As someone who was there at the session said afterward, the hunt was better than the kill. One Persian poem. One Beatles wife, one unrequited love poured into 7 minutes of electric guitar. Possibly the greatest rock love song ever committed to tape. Drop which story hit you hardest in the comments. We're just getting started. Nothing prepares you for what's at number one. If you're not subscribed, do it now. It costs you nothing and means you never miss one of these. Number 5. The Chain. Fleetwood Mac. 1977. Imagine going to work every day with the person who just broke your heart, standing 6 inches from them, singing into the same microphone about exactly what you're both going through. That was Fleetwood Mac in 1976. Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham had just ended their relationship. Simultaneously, John and Christine McVie were finalizing their divorce, and Mick Fleetwood's marriage was collapsing too. 5 people, 3 dying relationships, 1 studio, 1 album. Christine McVie described it in one word: drama. The Chain is the only song on Rumours credited to all 5 members, because it was never written. It was assembled. It started as an incomplete Christine McVie keyboard sketch. They loved John McVie's 10-note bass riff at the end. They loved the drums. The rest wasn't working. It sat in pieces for months. Almost got cut from the album. Then Stevie Nicks walked in one day and said she had some words that might fit the thing they'd been building in the studio, and she handed them the verses. Buckingham built backward from the bass line. Christine wrote the chorus. Nicks brought the lyrics. Mick and John already had the ending. 5 broken people, 5 scattered fragments, 1 song. I can still hear you saying you would never break the chain. Mick Fleetwood on what that line meant to the band in that moment. The realization that the music we were making together was more powerful than any of us. Rumours spent 31 weeks at number 1, won the Grammy for Album of the Year, sold over 45 million copies. 45 million copies of 5 people's private grief. That bass line that kicks in at the end of The Chain doesn't sound like music. It sounds like a decision, like people who have every reason to fall apart, choosing one more time not to. Number 4, Go Your Own Way. Fleetwood Mac, 1977. Stevie Nicks sang backing vocals on this song every night for years. She despised it. Buckingham wrote it in a rented house in Florida mid-tour, fresh from the end of everything he'd known. He beat his acoustic guitar as hard as he could and screamed until the words were right. The verses accused Nicks of specific things she has maintained for decades were untrue. She begged him to
How can I ever change things that I'm
change the line. He refused. So every night of the Rumours tour, Nick stood 6 feet from the man who wrote those words about her and sang his song back to the world. Because the music was bigger than the argument. The day Buckingham drove to Capitol Records to master the album, it came on the radio mid-drive. The DJ said that was the new Fleetwood Mac. Nah, I'm not sure about that one. Buckingham was on the phone to that DJ before he reached the building. The song peaked at number 10 on the Hot 100. It became certified double platinum in the UK, over 1.2 million copies. It turned into a stadium sing-along at every Fleetwood Mac show for the next 40 years. Even after Buckingham was fired from the band in 2018, a different man now sings his part. The angriest song on Rumours became the most joyful moment of every live show. The bitterness in the verses got swallowed by how the chorus feels, which might be the most honest thing rock and roll has ever accidentally said about how we love music. We don't always know what a song is really saying. We just know what it does to us. Number 3, Bohemian Rhapsody. Queen, 1975. EMI said it was too long. No chorus. Too strange. Radio would never play it. A DJ smuggled a copy and played it 14 times in one weekend. It went to number 1 for 9 weeks. Freddie Mercury had been carrying this song since the late 60s, scribbling pieces on scraps of paper borrowed from his father's office. One early fragment, which he called the Cowboy Song, already contained the line, "Mama just killed a man." He used a piano as the headboard of his bed. When inspiration came in the night, he'd reach above his head and play what he'd heard in his dreams before it disappeared. He held the song for almost a decade. Recording began August 24th, 1975 at Rockfield Studios in Wales. Mercury, Brian May and Roger Taylor sang their vocal parts for up to 12 hours a day. They recorded 180 overdubs for the operatic section alone. Mercury had written every single harmony part, soprano through baritone, on paper before they ever opened a microphone. The song took 3 weeks and 5 studios to complete. It became the most expensive single ever recorded. The entire A Night at the Opera album cost the equivalent of $500,000 today, and this one song consumed most of that budget. EMI refused to release it as a single, claustrophobically long, no chorus, unmarketable. The band slipped a copy to DJ Kenny Everett, told him not to play it. He played it 14 times that weekend. Listener phones melted. EMI had no choice. Bohemian Rhapsody hit UK #1 for 9 consecutive weeks. It became the first song ever to top the UK charts twice with the same version. In 2018, the most streamed song of the 20th century, over 1.6 billion streams. Producer Roy Thomas Baker, standing at the back of the control room when the completed recording played back for the first time. You just knew you were listening to a big page in history being turned. Mercury never explained what the song meant, not once. He deflected every interview, changed every subject. Brian May believed it was Mercury's private pain, his complexity, the distance between the man the world saw and the man he actually was. Mercury died November 24th, 1991. The song went to #1 again the following week. Picture any concert, anywhere, in any decade. Those opening a cappella voices starting, and without being asked, without rehearsing, without choosing, an entire arena singing back every word, every operatic run, every impossible high note, a song EMI refused to release. Critics called self-indulgent, a DJ was told not to play. Still the most streamed rock song of the 20th century. One voice, one piano, one red letter day. A mystery he took with him. #2, Freebird, Lynyrd Skynyrd. 1973. The label wanted it off the album. The band thought radio would never touch it. 4 years after it was recorded, 6 people got on a plane. The song began with a question. Alan Collins' girlfriend Kathy asked him something during a fight. Something so simple and so devastating. He wrote it down immediately. If I leave here tomorrow, would you still remember me? Collins worked on the music for 2 years. One rehearsal day in their tin-roofed shack in Jacksonville, which the band called the Hell House. Ronnie Van Zant heard the chords and stopped cold. He asked them to play it again, and again, and again. He sat there for hours, having them loop those same progressions while he found the words in his head. MCA Records heard the full version and said no. Too long. Nobody would play 9 minutes on radio. They pressed an edited version. Just the ballad faded out, the guitar solos amputated. The band hated it. But on stage they played the whole thing. Every minute, all 3 guitarists trading solos until the song detonated. Crowd by crowd, city by city, the legend spread the way legends always spread, person to person, whispered from one person to the next. MCA reversed course. The full version was released. It became their signature. their closing vow to every audience. Collins and Kathy got married October 20th, 1977. The charter plane ran out of fuel over a Mississippi forest. 6 people died. Ronnie Van Zant among them. For years after, Johnny Van Zant, Ronnie's brother, now fronting the reformed band, couldn't sing Free Bird. The trauma of singing his dead brother's words to his dead brother's fans was too much to carry. So the band played it as an instrumental, and 60,000 people sang every single word back to them. Johnny Van Zant on what the song became. This kid told me they used it for graduation. Someone else told me they used it at a funeral. And really, it's a love song. One of the few Leonard Skinner ever had. One question in a fight. 2 years of music, one plane that never landed. A song that outlived everyone who made it. Number 1. Stairway to Heaven. The Full Reckoning. Everything tonight was great. This is something else. Stairway to Heaven is not just the most iconic rock song of the 1970s. It is the entire argument that the 1970s were the greatest decade in rock history. Made sound. 8 minutes of acoustic folk becoming hard rock, becoming something the English language doesn't have a perfect word for. Not a song exactly, a place you go. Led Zeppelin first performed it live on March 5th, 1971 in Belfast, a city that was effectively a war zone. British soldiers on every corner, rioting in the streets, and the crowd was bored. They stood, they're waiting for something they already knew. They wanted Whole Lotta Love. An 8-minute suite starting with recorders and acoustic guitar wasn't
It's just a spring before the May Queen.
what they came for. Then the American tour. Something shifted. Audiences stopped waiting for a chorus that
Makes me wonder.
never came. They started listening to the journey instead. And they never stopped. By the mid-1970s, it was the most requested song on every FM radio station in America.
When I look to the
Not because it was the most played, it was never even a single, but because people called in and demanded it. Because hearing it on the radio felt personal, like it was only playing for you, specifically, on the night you needed it
if there's a bus
most. 3 million radio plays by 2000, the most played non-single in rock history. Atlantic Records begged twice. Release it, just release it as a single. Jimmy Page refused both times. He knew the moment it became a 45 RPM single, someone would edit it, trim it, reduce it to something manageable. He protected it like it was alive. And Robert Plant, who sat by that fire in Wales and let the words come through his hand, spent the next 40 years running from them, said he'd break out in hives, said the song no longer felt like his, delivered the lyrics at rare performances with the distance of a man reading someone else's
When I look to the
diary. Page never wavered. I knew it was good. I didn't know it was going to become an anthem, but I did know it was the gem of the album.
in your hedgerow, don't be alone now.
The gem of what many consider the greatest rock album ever made. A song that inspired Bohemian Rhapsody, paved the road for Free Bird, and gave permission to every rock song after it that dared to take its time, to build, to trust that the listener would stay. They all stayed. Picture the first time you truly heard it, not as background, the first time you actually listened, alone, late at night, at a moment when something had just changed, and the song
Makes me wonder.
met you exactly where you were. That is what the 1970s were capable of. One fire, one cottage in Wales, one evening. The most beloved, most
There's a feel.
played, most imitated rock song in history. That was never supposed to be a single. They were right to refuse. The 1970s gave us music born in burning buildings and borrowed corridors. From broken love, long-distance phone calls, fights that became opening lines,
Makes me wonder.
and labels that said no to everything that now lives forever. Every single time, the music won. These weren't just songs. They were decisions.
There's a feel.
Which one still stops you cold? Drop it in the comments. If you love music with a real story behind it, subscribe. We do this every week.